assignment. Whitetail Habitat Consultants, that's just the name of the assignment, okay? We're pretending. So here's the assignment, here's the task. The types of tools, I don't even know all the types of tools you may use on this, but I know that you'll want to use Excel. If you don't know how to use Microsoft Excel, don't raise your hand. See me after class. But, you know, since YouTube, by God, I can pretty much disarm a bomb, I think, you know, if I've got it YouTube. I'll tell you a story about this.
It's a bad lead.
I was in my office one day, all right, and this is not too long ago, but I was in my office and I had I think it was pastrami sandwich. I had a pastrami sandwich, you know, like pastrami, like a New York pastrami, and and I had that, and it was in a paper sack, and you kind of smell it a little bit. And I had that in, and I just have this file drawer, you know, this university-provided file cabinet, metal file cabinet with a lock on it. And so anyway, I just put my lunch in there, and I usually just had my key in the lock on the cabinet, you know, so that, you know, it's not like somebody's going to break into it. I just leave the key in the lock. But for some strange reason, I was holding the key. And I don't know why, but I had dropped it, and I slammed it, and I locked the door. I locked the cabinet. I locked the file cabinet with a pastrami sandwich in it. And I thought, you know, I could probably go weeks without that pastrami sandwich, but no, it's going to be ripe in a few days. So I had, how do I get into this stupid cabinet? Because I just dropped, you know, the key, and it's locked. And that's the only key I have. So what do I do? YouTube. Actually, I thought, what would my son do? He would go to YouTube, all right? So I went to YouTube, and it took me 3 videos. The first video, 2 adult, you know, an adult, and then another adult, and I couldn't learn anything from them. And I got to an 11-year-old kid. The third video is an 11-year-old kid, and with a paper clip, I learned how to pick a file cabinet lock. And I did it in 2 minutes. So, you know, that is education right there. So anyway, what I'm saying, if you don't know Excel, go to YouTube, all right? If you don't know Excel, you can learn it. It's not that difficult. You'll get some tutorials. It's possible. And with that, you can also learn how to do other things like, you know, there's an application that we use in geography a lot, and those of you who are in one of the in-room majors will use called ArcGIS or GIS Pro, okay, something like that. So it's a geographical information system, and we're going to get you going on some of that stuff. So you'll have some experience. If you've never had any experience at all with GIS, you'll get some experience, and we'll play around with it. And tutorials, remember, YouTube tutorials will help you. All right, since you can't read this, I'm just going to ask you, I'm going to tell you what it says basically. Online mapping sites like ArcGIS Online, county assessor databases, basically every county in the country keeps, you know, why do we even have county courthouses anymore except for college town football nights, maybe. But, you know, the county courthouses are the places where they retain land records, right? And all legal documents for the county at the state, you know, it's the state's unit. So the county is really the place where you go looking for things like tax rates. And, you can find all kinds of really cool, interesting stuff at the county courthouse. Now, most county assessors and county clerk's offices, county treasurers have websites. Actually, a lot of them have farmed this out to, you know, private industry, and they've put it all online, put the land records online. And not every county in, say, the state of Oklahoma has this, but most of them do. Some of them are really, really easy to work with and, fantastic, including Payne County, okay? So you can get a lot of really good information that way. Another source of information that you'll be needing for this assignment will be just commercial real estate websites like Zillow. Anybody ever use Zillow?
No.
And there are others, I guess, but that auction.com or something like that. But you can use whatever you want. Now, here's the task. This character named Brad wants to buy some rural land somewhere in Oklahoma for the sole purpose of managing the habitat to support the white-tailed deer population. Loves to photograph deer. He wants to spend around $80,000 on a parcel of land and another $20,000 to build a small primitive cabin, wood stove, heat, electricity if it's available, no water plumbing necessary. And the parcel will not be a high fence parcel. This is not your city slicker whitetail hunting farm. Okay, this is just a piece of property out in the boondocks somewhere. So I'm looking for a bargain. That is, I want to find I want to be able to purchase as much rural land as I can. So it needs to be relatively inexpensive. I want a big enough parcel so that I can safely use a centerfire rifle if I want to. And then also, I probably, this is kind of a hint, probably want to exploit different access to agricultural land and maybe land where there are deer populations that aren't hunted. All right, like, wildlife refuges and stuff like that, okay? All right, so your job as a paid consultant is to identify where in Oklahoma Brad should most logically direct his attention for future real estate purchase. To answer this question, you'll need to utilize online information such as current real estate sales prices, property tax rates, habitat requirements for healthy white-tailed deer populations. That's easy to get from OSU Ag Extension. And perhaps annual white-tailed deer harvest data. None of this data will jump into your arm, so you will have to be inquisitive, ask for help, bug people, and crunch some numbers in order to provide your expert advice. The data, well, that's up to you. All right? You figure it out. And the deliverable for individual projects, if you're handing in an individual project, not working with a partner or a group, provide a 1,000-word minimum report on your findings. Tell you what, we could do this as a group project if you want, okay? So I know some of y'all, you said you don't really like group projects. If you want to do a group project, let's say, how big of a group should we have? What would be the maximum size of a group? 4? I think 4. Okay. So a maximum size would be 4. You can do this as an individual, but then you got to do a lot of work, all right? 3 pages, group work, 1 document, 1 3-page document. It can be longer, but 1,000 words, basically. It's a little over 3 pages. So a 1,000-word minimum report on your findings, and you may suggest up to 3 different areas at the scale of a township. Everybody know what a township is? A township in the U.S. Township and Range System or U.S. Land Survey, it's 36 mile by 36 mile square. 36 by 36. No. It's 6 by 6. What am I saying? What was I? On drugs or something here? So,
I was going to say.
Okay, sorry. Forget that. I'll fix it.
But you just want the nearest township to where the land is at.
Yeah, I want you to identify 3 townships. That's a 6 by 6 square, 36 square miles. It's a big area. It's certainly big enough, probably big enough, to be able to find some rural land for sale, all right? So you don't actually have to find the land that would be for sale. It's as if, it's the area that you want to tell this person, that's really where you should be looking.
And if there's no land in that area that's actually for sale, then you just...
No, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about whether or not it's for sale. You want to identify a 6 by 6 square.
That just got a lot easier.
Yeah. I mean, you want to identify, but you want to, the reason I ask about Zillow or tell you about Zillow is because Zillow is going to tell you what the sales prices are or what the asking prices are. It's going to give you a pretty good idea with the county records of the land value. Let me give you an example. What would 100 acres in Payne County, 100 acres of rural, non-agricultural, maybe grade 6 or grade 5 land that's, you shouldn't be grazing because it's going to erode, but it's like really good deer habitat. 100 acres, what would that run me? What would that cost?
$250,000. 200 to $250,000.
Okay, so 100 acres, so what would be the per acre price?
$2,000, $2,500.
2,000 to 2,500 an acre?
You're probably at like.
I think you're under.
Low.
I think you're low. Yeah, I think it's a lot. I think it's about twice that.
Really, in Payne County?
Yeah, 30 acres for 100,000 in Payne County.
There you go. Now, is that rural land?
Yeah, absolutely nothing on it.
Okay, there you go. Now, a lot of this land, that's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? It is. It's way too high.
That's why I don't hunt Payne County.
Exactly, yeah. So don't be looking in Payne County. That's where I live. I can't afford Payne County, all right? I might afford Creek County or Pawnee County, but don't send me somewhere where I'm not going to be able to attract any deer onto this property.
Are you looking for land?
Hey, yeah, this is somebody's going to get paid here.
Out by Sharon.
All right. So why do you say out by Sharon in, wait a minute, Dewey County?
I can't remember what county it is, but it's near Woodward.
It's
just outside.
It's Woodward County. It's Woodward County. It's on the bottom of Woodward County. Yeah, actually on the river, that would be kind of nice.
That's going to be super expensive though. But if you're next to water, if the land that you look at is on water, it's going to be high dollar. But if you get away from the water just a little bit, you still got monsters, excellent habitat.
Barely.
All right, so not everybody is a deer hunter, I understand that. But everybody likes to get paid for doing geographical analysis, right? Yeah, in your geography class. And you probably are interested in what Bambi eats and how Bambi reproduces and what sorts of environments Bambi likes to have to hide from the scary hunters, okay? So help us out. All right, you got a project, or maybe you're just interested in real estate value or something like that. I'll tell you, if you cross the boundary, you cross the county line out of Payne County into Noble County, just look at what the prices of the houses do. They go way down. All right, you can pick up an 1,800 square foot ranch, 3-bedroom, 2-bath junker like mine in Stillwater these days for $180,000, $190,000. You can pick the same one up on the other side of the county line for about $50,000 or $60,000. You may need a little bit more work, but but it's crazy. There's a huge amount of difference. So what's determining all that? Well, of course, the housing market's determining that. But what sorts of places would you want to avoid if you're looking for cheap land that has this habitat?
Cities and suburbs.
Yeah, you don't want to go to the suburbs. You don't want to go to Oklahoma County. You don't really want to go to Tulsa County. You probably don't want to go to, even close to those big metropolitan areas. Land's going to be too expensive. Right. So that's what you need to be thinking about: the price of land, and then what else?
There's also no land to speak of.
Habitat.
Alfalfa.
There's no
wheat.
land to speak of in those counties. It's so developed.
Oh yeah, of course. Actually, my stepbrother, I can tell you, that's a different story. My stepbrother is a hunter and he hunts from his yard.
Yeah.
And but he's right on the county line. He's just a mile north of the Oklahoma County line.
Is he
in
Logan?
County. Yeah. And he's had terrible things happen, like bucks with arrows in them run into the swimming pool of his neighbor and stuff. So he caught it though. So that's good.
Okay.
Sorry about that. One plowed into the car, his neighbor's car, and he wound up having to spend $1,000 to fix the guy's car.
The neighbors love him.
Yeah, they all love him so much. Okay, so
What
what are some data we can find? Those of you that are already on this, what are some other data sources, databases? See what you can find on, okay, number one, I want to be able to go out to this place and I want to be able to attract white-tailed deer to my habitat by doing conservation work. I want to be able to manicure that habitat so that it's perfect and is like, you know, the candy store for white-tailed deer, especially big male white-tailed deer, okay? So what do I need to do? What sort of habitat am I looking for? Am I looking for high plains, shortgrass prairie? Probably not. Am I looking for land with water on it? Yeah. Am I looking for monoculture agriculture, like, you know, just cotton production? Why not? Okay. What do you want? You want some interspersed, you want a complex mosaic of land quality and land type, right? Okay?
Well, it really depends on what you want.
It depends on, yeah, it depends on what I want. So, first thing you probably need to do is look up, you know, what are the requirements of white-tailed deer habitat? And if you don't have any clue about that, a good place to look is Oklahoma State University Agricultural Extension, and look up white-tailed deer habitat, and you'll get a PDF that has, it's actually really good. It's real basic stuff for many of you, but maybe not so basic for everybody. All right? So, Zillow, you want to check out Zillow for property values. You want to look at the different, you might just try Payne County for fun. You get on the Payne County assessor's website and you'll see, you know, that these things all kind of look the same to a degree, and you can get a little bit of information from those. How about other sources? How about for land cover and that sort of thing? What data for land cover are we going to have? Remember, this is Monday, Wednesday, Friday class.
You mean like what's on the land? We use satellite imagery.
Satellite imagery. So,
Google Earth.
what if? How about maps? Do we want maps?
Type on that.
Topographical maps.
See, for the assignment, you want maps included.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for making note of that. On the deliverable, I want, okay, really important. This threw me, sorry. The most important part of your report is your justification, which must be based on any data that you can find. This client expects to receive maps and graphics with your report that help substantiate your conclusions. Of course, you must provide adequate attribution for all information you use. So it means you have to have a list of references and cite things. We know how to do that, though. If you don't, get on YouTube. You can do it. All right, so let's talk about some data. How about, you know, if white-tailed deer like a certain type of vegetation, maybe they have requirements for certain types of mast. What's mast?
Large quantities.
M-A-S-S-E-D is large quantities. M-A-S-T is either the thing in the middle of a sailboat or acorns and nuts and stuff like that. Okay?
Hey, what?
Acorns.
Acorns. Okay. Acorns. But I grew up saying acorns. Acorns and nuts, stuff like that. So they need hardwood, deciduous timber for that, right? They need, and you know, what else do they need? Well, you need to look that up. But how do you find those? That's where I come in. So you can, it's a very nice mallard there, by the way. if you go, just go ahead and write some of this stuff down. You don't have to Google it, and I'll just tell you some sites, okay? So there's a really, really good website for Oklahoma maps at the Oklahoma Geological Survey. Not geographical, but Oklahoma Geological Survey. That's based down at the University of Oklahoma. And if you get on their website, they've got all kinds of fantastic maps of everything, you know, geology, but also vegetation. You can find all sorts of good maps there. There's a kind of a classic map of vegetation in Oklahoma called what is it, the duck map or something? Duck map, yeah. I think that's what it's called. But I'll try to post some of this stuff. You mentioned topo maps. How many of you have ever worked with USGS 7.5 minute quadrangle topo sheets? You know, the big green things? Okay, good. Those are available online. And have you ever used them from online sources? Probably. If you go to the USDA, what's it called? Geospatial Data Server, okay? USDA.
Geospatial what?
I think it's called Geospatial Data Gateway. That's what it is. Geospatial Data Gateway. And what this will do is it will allow you to actually search within the state of Oklahoma or any state, and then within like a county, and you'll actually be able to find topo maps. Click on those, and then you can do select 20 of them or something. They're big files. They come as GeoPDFs, I think, and so then you have to say, okay, I want to check out, and then it takes a little while. But after a few minutes, you'll get this big zip file. Anybody ever done that? Okay. You'll get this big old zip file, and then you can explode the zip file, and you'll have all these topo maps. Okay. And you can take those. For free? Yeah. Well, it's not free. The taxpayers paid for it. Okay. You all paid for it. Right? So yeah, there's no such thing as a free lunch. But yeah, it's no charge, and as you're working through the university, it will ask you your mailing address and stuff. You just put your university address, or it's your email address. And I think you have to say I'm a student or something like that. It's good stuff. All right, so that's how to get topo maps and thematic maps for understanding this stuff. What you want are large-scale maps, right? Now, let's talk about the group thing. How many of you would be interested in doing the group thing? How many of you have some experience with, let's say, how many of you have experience with using online mapping stuff? Okay, so look around, folks, look around. I know, let's do this. Let's do this the right way. Those of you who have used ArcGIS, okay, in an extensive way, come on up here to the stage.
What's ArcGIS?
They will teach you.
Global something.
It's capital A, R, C, or something like, no, it's not capital, I guess. NREM, good.
Sit down, nobody
Fisheries?
wants you. Oh. Get off, Ron.
So we have three NREM majors here, I think. Yeah, okay. And you all have had that intro course called what?
Intro to ArcGIS.
Intro to ArcGIS, okay, great. So what do they teach you in that class? What are they?
Boundaries, population,
Shape files.
shapefiles.
So you're just using the old,
Becca, speak up. You're not quiet.
Would you say
4.0 or
shape? I did it like my freshman year.
Okay,
so
yeah.
like it's
This application is all over the labs on campus, and it's ArcGIS 4.0. It's the desktop version. But there's also, did you play around with the online version?
a little bit.
Okay, and it's real easy to use. It's kind of fun. They can be playing around with that first. So you all are team captains. Anybody else have any GIS experience? Because we need one of you on each team, see?
That's a big team.
No. These are 3 different teams here. We need
Right,
one.
it'll
We
still
need.
be a big
How about any other GIS people? Well, you're a geography major. Come on up here.
I'm not doing.
No geography major? You are. GIS experience?
I mean, not really. I switched into it at the beginning of this year.
Okay. Has anybody taken GIS this semester? Any GIS class? Okay. Well,
I'm surprised we
all right,
didn't.
let's go a different route. Now, assuming you all are just like,
I'm lazy
monolithic
architecture.
people. You only do GIS. I'm sure you don't, but who has some more experience that would be, who would raise their hand and say, I've got a little experience about this that would be useful for this subject? What else do we need to know?
White-tailed deer.
White-tailed deer, kind of, that would help. Yeah.
You're a white-tailed deer habitat consultant.
Yeah.
White-tailed
So
deer.
anybody know a lot about white-tailed deer? Okay. Why don't you ladies and gentlemen, come up here and ma'am, would you go over to that side? And sir, you'll go over here on this wall. This is like picking teams in elementary school. Right? It's just like picking teams. I was always the last one to get on the team. All right, and so let's have some whitetail experts now. Come on up.
Disperse.
And you're gonna get to know these folks, so, you know. We don't want the whitetail experts on the same,
There's more hunters than this in here.
we don't want the whitetail experts on the
Just
same
because you're a hunter
team.
doesn't mean you're an expert on the species.
That's right. You could just be one
I
of
just shoot the
the
thing.
TV hosts that go out into the farm and shoot the genetic mutants. Yeah. So you want to be over here? Okay, somebody else, come on, we need one more person, okay, over here somewhere.
Where were you pointing?
Well, I don't know, one of these 2 ladies are your captains, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so whitetail, any more whitetail, how about ecologists? Oh, come on. How about vegetation experts, range ecology, forestry? Oh, come on now. All right. Are there any other things that we should know? How about business folks? Anybody in business? Should have some people in business.
Combat veterans?
How about, what else should we have here? Geography people? No. Who's left? We're just
I'm a
shy.
landscape architect major.
Fantastic.
That's all
You
I
need to
got.
be on this team right here.
I don't want her.
What about my wildlife boys?
Wildlife, okay, wildlife
That's ecology.
wildlife management, is that it?
Yeah.
Where are those guys? Okay, thank you.
That's what they say.
All right,
Is that what this is?
wildlife management,
Yes.
come on down.
That was in.
Come on, Jared.
We need to scatter you about so that you're not on the same team.
We are dealing nothing with water. I mean, maybe like a
Okay,
puddle.
shake hands with your group members.
I'm not getting a
Come over here.
Back
That'll be fine by
Infantry.
yourself.
back there.
Okay, what are y'all major, what's your majors back there?
Back.
What?
I don't know why it's pushing this.
How are you doing?
Fisheries?
Trees.
Fisheries or
Shake my own hand. Hi, I'm Kelsey.
wildlife?
Jared?
Get on that team.
Jared, gotcha.
And what's? Wildlife?
They're the only one that
Wait.
doesn't have 3.
Wildlife, you're a new team. You're a new team captain, okay?
They don't have 3. I'm on that one.
Can I be on
They only
this
have
team?
2.
Okay, team member right here. Okay, now, at this point,
Disperse.
I'm just not a matchmaker, obviously. I'm not very good at this. So if you see something that looks really cute, gravitate to their member, okay? So go be with them. And do we want more teams than this?
Does the paper stay the same?
Yeah, but we only want 4 people, so.
Can we do individual projects?
Yeah, I was gonna say, is this turning into like
yeah.
a land group
If
project?
you want to do an individual project, that's fine too. Oh, okay, all right, okay. So who wants to do a group project? Oh, well, that kind of explains everything. No wonder. I thought I had something going there. No group project, I guess. Okay.
I don't like people. I don't want to deal with them more than I have to.
Hey, we'll do it this way. We'll do it the communist way. We'll make an online site so that everybody can share some information, okay? Does that make sense?
Sure.
So that way, you find something cool, you put it up for everybody, and then everybody can kind of take advantage of that. So not only is